Good.
Okay, good evening. It's Monday, April 13th, 2026. And I'll call the meeting to order. It's a regular meeting. And I welcome to our council meeting for the Augusta Township. And I'll call the meeting to order. So first we'll have the land acknowledgement statement, and I'll ask Councillor Pape if he could, please.
Sure thing. Augusta Township acknowledges that we live and work on ancestral territories of Indigenous peoples. The township recognizes all Indigenous peoples and honors their past, present, and future. The township values and respects their cultural heritages and relationship to the land.
Okay, thank you. Okay, mayor's openings and remarks, and the first thing I have is I have a little bit of a list here. So first of all, it's the Augusta Fire Department and in North Augusta, Saturday night, the pancake supper. It's well attended, I guess about 300, and the pancakes I noticed this year were extra fluffy. Anyway, they were a good size. I had a hard time putting down two of them, to be honest with you. But I think everybody was the same way and enjoyed themselves, so. Good. And I hope they made a little bit of money, so thank you. Next, we had a starter company graduation, and Councillor Pape and myself were there. We had Jennifer Slater, who lives in Algonquin, and she owns the business Hair She Goes. And she graduated from the starter company. So now they're basically starting their business and hopefully to be prospered. So anyway, we had I think there was about 20 recipients. So anyway, we had the one, which was great. Next, Bruce Wiley. Bruce Wiley's retirement. And we went to that. That was last Monday, I guess, at this time. Last Tuesday, correct. Yeah, last Tuesday. And anyway, we presented him with a certificate from the township on his 55 years. The deputy mayor was there, and Councillor Pape was there, myself, and I think that was it from council. It was a full house, and he was brought police escort, limousine, and everything else. So it was a really good night, as you can tell by the press releases. Next, we went to the Front of Young Awards breakfast, myself, the CAO, and the clerk. That was last Friday morning. The reason we went is because I always said during our economic development tourism meetings that I just don't understand how they get so many nominations. And we have to beat the bushes just to get 3 of the size of our township. And I don't think people are the same no matter where you are. So anyway, we're gonna dig into that. They had something like 30 nominations. And it was very good. They gave out the awards and everything else. They had a full house there. But again, I go there and I wanted to share that with the clerk and the CAL, say, wow, why can't we do that? So we're gonna dig into how they get the nominations. Next, this Friday, the Minister of Natural Resources, Mike Harris, will be with Steve Clark. I'm invited, so if any council members or staff members have any questions that they want me to put to the Minister of Natural Resources, please let me know before I go. And anyway, that's this Friday. Mayor's breakfast. I want to thank the Economic Development Committee. I want to thank the clerk. I want to thank our communications, Willow, and of course the CAO and everybody for their help. I thought it was a success. We had 95 or 100 people, but we had some no-shows, but that's okay. It's not going to be perfect, but it was a really good success, especially with Bruce Wiley and ending his career. So no, it went very well. So thank you very much, everybody. Okay, so that's it for me. Next thing I'll do is I'll read the motion for approval of the agenda. Be resolved, the council agenda for April 13th, 2026 be adopted. Deputy Mayor Winans, will you move the motion? So moved. Councilor Bowman, will you second the motion?
I will.
Okay, does anybody have anything on the agenda? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carries. Thank you. Disclosure of interest and nature thereof. Does any member of council wish to disclose any pecuniary interest and nature thereof? Again, I see nothing. Thank you. Approval of the minutes of previous meeting of the regular council minutes, March 23rd, 2026. I'll read the motion. Be it resolved, the council approve the minutes of the March 23rd, 2026 council meeting as distributed to all members. Councilor Pape, will you move the motion?
I will.
Deputy Mayor Wyans, you second the motion?
I will.
Does anybody have any corrections, observations, anything like that for the minutes? Okay, I see nothing. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Business arising from the minute. Does any member have business arising from the regular council minutes or special council minutes? Again, I see nothing. Delegations and presentation. There are no delegations or presentations this evening. Correspondence and petitions. So we have one item under correspondence. And that was from Mr. Gary Thornhill. So they sent me an email basically representing St. James Church for the 200th anniversary in Maitland. And some of the key dates they have is Sunday, April 19th at 3 p.m. is the 200th celebration launch with a concert featuring singer, songwriter, and instrumentalist Spencer Sharp. Anyway, it's a free will offering. There's a couple other days, another date, June 7th for a lecture, another one, October 17th, another concert. And I think things to wrap it up, you might say, is Sunday, October 18th at 10:30, 200th anniversary service with Bishop William Cliff, followed by a special commemoration and a luncheon. So myself, the deputy mayor, are certainly going to try and move the October 18th, but council wants to attend by all means. It's the 200th anniversary of St. James Church. Okay, committee reports. United Counties of Leeds and Grenville. Okay, we had two joint services and committee of the whole. And the joint services, we talked about, my notes here, we talked about the HPP, which is the Housing Prevention Program, where the counties gets $3.5 million a year to dish out to basically the service partners. And one of those service partners, of course, John Howard Society, that sort of thing. And then the money is then distributed to victim services, housing assistance, supportive housing, shelters, etc. So again, we talked about that. We seem to be organized. The only thing is the heart help everybody's talking about hasn't come to light. They're supposed to be opening, I believe, 1st of May, but they haven't even applied for building permits. My last thing, so I don't know what's happening. Nobody knows what's happening. And the warming center, I believe, ends the end of April. So again, the question is, where do people go? It's just not for being warm, but it's also for help. So there's questions. We're going to come back to it. We've asked for more information, but again, we're looking at that. I just want to mention there is two distinct groups that are having problems, and there's seniors and single parents. So those two groups especially, a lot of services are looking after them. Okay, that's joint services committee of the whole presentation from the MTO on preliminary design from Highway 16 or Johnstown to 2.5 kilometers east of Shanley Road. And they just basically gave a quick view of that, and really doesn't affect our township any, but again, for the six lanes. They will be doing a different overpass there. Next, we talked about the food insecurity crisis. And this happened about a month and a half ago, where all the food bank managers got together and they came to counties, within counties, and they asked us to do a food bank emergency food bank crisis. To proclaim that insecurity crisis. Brockville did it, Kingston did it, Toronto did it. But there was a lot of questions and even myself were calling something a crisis. And then you get into philosophical because just different. One mayor was saying, yes, it is a crisis, to a person, but on the whole, it's not a crisis. So anyway, couldn't decide. It's gonna come back to council. That's just the wording. I think everybody's in favor of the food bank. When you start using words like that, there's meaning behind it. So, I don't know if those other cities realize that, but anyway, it's going to come back to council. And then they gave the integrity commissioner's report. Total amount of dollars was $621 for advice. And we had no complaints. So as far as counties goes. And I see in our council agenda tonight, we have the same sort of report, so. That's all I have for counties. So next we'll have South Basin Conservation Authority, Rideau Valley Conservation Authority, Deputy Mayor Winans, please.
Yeah, okay, so at our regular meeting for both conservation authorities, quite a discussion on, the province again froze all the fees. And because they froze the fees, then they have to raise money other ways, so then if they raise their money through their assessment, and so it's back on the backs of the local taxpayers, rather than the developers or whoever's using the fees. The other thing that we have quite a discussion on and not sure how they're gonna do it, and can you imagine if we had to do our budget in November for the new council next year before the end of the year? And that's what the conservation authorities have been told we have to do, have to have your budget done in November because of the new transition going on. They don't want the new council to have the new and smaller councils have to do a budget. So each conservation authority has to do a budget in November when you don't know your year-end numbers yet. And anyway, so that's quite a discussion on how we're gonna pull that off. The other thing, South Nation is having a municipal information day tomorrow, 9:30 in Finch, and there's some staff going for that. And on Friday, there was a tour in Charleville at 6396 concession in Augusta for the wetland areas that they bought from that they're redeveloping. And World Wildlife Fund, they're supposed to be there. They thought they were gonna be there early, but they're saying now probably maybe not around till around lunchtime. But bring rubber boots. Property's wet,
It
but
will be wet.
it will be wet, but it's about a kilometer in that you can walk. You want to go on the tour. So that's all I have for that.
Thank you. Next we have Recreation Committee, so I'll ask Deputy Mayor Winans and Councillor Bowman, do you have any updates? And Councillor Pink, sorry.
Not at this time for me.
Well, for North Augusta, we have our meeting tonight. So because of the holiday, it's pushed back a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have Public Library Board, Councillor Bowman.
Through your worship, the last meeting that we had, the numbers are for the month of February, the library had 8 new members. They're also looking at, their first meeting for their book club is going to be this month. They're also looking at starting up a newsletter. They'll also be, their plant and book sale is May 30th from 9 to 1. Also Saturdays is the Lego Club, Wednesdays story time, Mondays is needles and pins. They're also looking at doing up a hobby kit. And in this hobby kit, it's a kit that will give you tools to make what's in the hobby. You make it and then you bring all the tools in that back and then they replenish it. And so it's there for someone else to use. Also, through grant match, they have applied for the library for a grant through the Trillium and the RBC to see if we can do some work in the schoolhouse and to bring the washrooms up to accessibility. I drew a blank there. That's it at this time.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions for Councillor Bowman?
Yeah, do you know, do they accept used books? because my wife went through the closet and cleaned out, I got a cardboard box full of paperback and some are hardcovers.
You'd have to talk to Corwin to find out, cause they do certain ones, but. Cause I know somebody else tried to get some books and they wouldn't take.
Yeah, well, if they're not appropriate, yeah, 'cause these are just romance novels.
If it's something that'll fit into their categories, I'm assuming, but the best thing would be to contact Corwin.
Okay,
to
Yeah, I
find out.
think it depends. I have encyclopedias, so
yeah.
still an age, I guess. So I think we had. Okay, sorry, Economic Development Tourism Advisory Committee, Councillor Payne.
Thank you, your worship. Yeah, we had a meeting last Monday, or sorry, Tuesday, because of the holiday. Good meeting. We discussed the community conversation, which Pam will be bringing to council in 2 weeks. Was that the 21st, I believe?
27.
Okay, that's that date.
Yeah.
You can come on 21st, but she won't be. So she's gonna present that. So we got a first kind of glance at the report that came out of the survey that we did last year. Remember when we finished that?
That would have been just Christmas time.
Christmas time at the end of the year, right? So, it's interesting data in there, so I won't give any spoilers. I'll let Pam, deliver that next meeting. Got an update on the, Explore Augusta map, which we will be, of course, launching at the, trade show, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. And, we discussed the community garden. Of course, that day it was snowing outside, so nobody was thinking about gardening at the time, but, it seems that the snow has now gone away and we're looking at double-digit temperatures, so gardening will be coming up hopefully in the next month. And we'll start to see that take fruition. So lots of stuff coming up as the weather gets a little bit better. And yeah, I think it was probably one of the better meetings we've had in recent history, a little bit more productive. So we'll see what the next couple months bring.
Good, good. Okay, Planning Advisory Committee, Deputy Mayor Wyman.
Okay, well, we had, one, severance application and one other one, and the one that we had was for the Viking family, and, it actually went really well. The residents that came out, there was quite a few came out, same as for the council meeting, but they were thankful about the information that we gave them, and the tone was totally different. It wasn't, they weren't, argumentative and whatever, they were just taking the information and wanting next steps and just wanting more information, so planning meeting went really well.
Good. Okay, so we'll go on to 11, staff reports, staff report 34-2026, tax arrear report as of March 31st, 2026. I'll read the motion. Be resolved, the council receives staff report 34-2026 for information, and that staff continue to contact and or meet the property owners to negotiate acceptable payment arrangements for outstanding tax arrears. Councillor Payne, will you motion?
I will.
Councillor Bowman, you second the motion?
I will.
And I'll have the treasurer say a few words about it, please.
Thank you, Mayor. So just wanted to bring this tonight, kind of first go around, something that we plan on doing quarterly. First off, tonight, just wanted to kind of highlight, Deputy Treasurer Shory's efforts here in clearing off some of the older arrears that we've had on the books. It is coming down. We do have properties registered as noticed or as laid out in the report here. Second thing we kind of wanted to do was just maybe start a discussion about how you would like to see these reports come back in the future. Just looking for some feedback and maybe some discussion on what it is exactly you would care to see above and beyond just where registration properties just lie.
Comments, questions?
Yeah, well, it's just, for what happened on the weekend with, the tax sale coming on Facebook, I think, it's gonna bring a little more awareness now that if you don't have, because I don't think the people knew that it was gonna be on Facebook like that, so that's kind of an embarrassment, but, you know, what do you do if you don't pay your taxes? And it's gotta be advertised somehow, so.
So through you, Mayor, yes, we do advertise them. There is, when we get to the point where the property is coming up for sale, there is some requirements as far as advertising in local newspapers and whatnot. Runs for 4 weeks leading up to the sale. There's a week in between there before it. But, yeah, the advertising, is definitely, we're late to the game here, but, yeah, unfortunately, that's just part of the process.
Any other questions? Yes.
Through Mayor, just one thing I'll just add to our treasurer's report is, I think it needs to be said is that, we just don't go ahead and register these properties. There is years and years of correspondence, whether it's through letters, through registered mail. And unfortunately, if people do not want to reach out to the office to make payment arrangements or come up with a schedule, there's only so much we can do from a township perspective. So the tax sale is kind of a tool that's given to us to try and collect property taxes. So when it gets to this point, there's been a lot of correspondence, and if people fail to respond or act on it, it's kind of our next thing.
No, my point is, a great report. That's what I like to see. The current number bothers me. And I just don't know, that includes, like you said, up to March 31st, 2026, so.
So through your mayor,
Yeah.
so yes, this snapshot at the end of March, the current amounts owing are always higher after a tax due date, like we've just had. Those amounts do sort of go down significantly as you go through the years. Also to note, in that amount that's shown there, that 1.2, that does also include amounts that have not been paid on accounts that are part of the pre-authorized payment plan, which does in this instance account for just over 200K worth of taxes owing. It shows as arrears because they're not paid, but because they're on that plan, it's not money, I guess, that we're worried about. It's just that it shows up on the arrears. So year over year, if I look at where we were same time last year, we've actually kind of slowed down the increase on current arrears from previous years.
Yeah, I guess I look at 2023 figures. There's a vast difference,
You can,
but I'm also glad to see, what she put together in status of the properties collection, because that tells a story by itself. And, you know, if people do read this, you know, there's 8 properties with acceptable payment arrangements in place to avoid registration. And I know people are, like, even the time I've been here this afternoon, 2 people come in and pay taxes, you know, so, no bids for property stalled due to title relation issues, which you always have. So, no, the reasons there, to me, it's nice to know those reasons, you know, and it's just nice to know that, you know, that amount is not pure delinquency. There's issues behind some of them. And the willingness that, we have basically, the staff has working with those people, so that's great. And 13 additional properties forward to tax registration file opening as of March 31st, 2026. And we both know in the past, those 13, probably, I'm guessing maybe 2 or 3 will go through because the people will come in and pay the taxes once they see that letter.
these numbers have already changed since
Yeah.
we've done this.
Yeah, that's what I figured. No, good report. I'm glad that she put the explanation there, so thank Ms. Shorey. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it, you know, quarterly anyway, see where we're moving. So, yeah,
Yeah, I would think for next year, or for this fall, when the taxes are due again, we'll put out something, then put out an example that if you take your taxes and then you say, okay, I owe 6,000, but every month I'm gonna pay 300 and some dollars. But every month you'd be charged interest because you didn't have an arrangement, you're just paying so much off the balance. Whereas if you got the pre-authorized, there's no interest and your payments are around the same, but you save all that interest.
Mhm.
okay, any other questions? Okay, I'll call the roll. All in favor? Here. Next, we have, excuse me, staff report 35-2026, Integrity Commissioners Annual Report. I'll read the motion. Be resolved, the council received the Integrity Commissioners 2025 Annual Report dated March 19, 2026, as outlined in staff report 35-2026. Deputy Mayor Williams, we move the motion. So moved. Councillor Payne, you second the motion?
Well,
I'll ask the CAO to speak on it quickly.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So, this is, I think, the first report you've seen, from the Integrity Commissioner. I know in my time here, so, I was certainly glad to see, the Commissioner provide us a report. So this is a requirement, in legislation that the Integrity Commissioners provide an overall report to Council to receive. What it does is it provides, a detail in regards to costs that are associated with providing advice to Council, as well as if there's any complaints made against Council of the Township. So, to follow up to the mayors, when he gave the United Counties, we spent $144.15 in advice that was given to Council and $0 for costs associated with, complaints made. So it only cost taxpayers $144.15 for our Integrity Commissioner this year. So certainly some good news, and certainly something that I hope, we'll start receiving on an annual basis moving forward. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? No, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Staff report 36-2026 municipal donation recommendations. I'll read the motion. Be resolved, the council approved the recommended 2026 donation submissions as outlined in staff report 37-2026 Schedule A, totaling $64,366. Councillor Bowman, will you move the motion?
I will.
Councillor Payne, will you second the motion?
I will.
And I'll ask CAO to speak to it, please.
Well, thank you, Mayor and Council. So, this is, a follow-up to, two discussions from the evaluation committee, as well as a tri-council meeting that was held back in March, with the Prescott and Eversburg Cardinal, where we had, 6 organizations that, presented at the tri-council. These were the 6 organizations that were requesting funds from all 3 municipalities. And of course, they were ranging in amounts being requested. So, as part of our new process for our grants and donations, there was a new process that people had to apply before the end, I think it is the end of November, to be considered for 2026 budget. So these are the recommendations that were provided by the evaluation committee. I will note that, our clerk is part of the figure skating club, and myself part of the Chamber of Commerce, and they were declared whenever we were having discussions. So these are recommendations based on the evaluation committee as a whole. For council tonight, this is the recommendation, which means council can amend, council can delete, council can do whatever they want to do as far as changing the totals. Right now, what's in here is a recommendation of $64,000. It includes our final payment for the Mapleview Lodge. It includes our payments for the Sherwood Park Manor, which we have not made any payments to date. We're still waiting for an invoice from them so that we can cut them a check. The Prescott Family Health Team, as part of our agreement, we provide funding to them annually. So that's in there as well too. And then, of course, the recommendations that were outlined for the organizations. It does leave about $15,000 left in the budget for council if they choose to amend, or council wants to keep that money later on this year for any requests come to council. So certainly if council has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. The one thing I will say as far as the evaluation, the evaluation committee did look at the applications individually, looked at what the programming was for, did it reach kids, were given a lot of recommendations when it came to youth programming and activities. One of the comments that came was maybe looking at streamlining it again next year and having some streams that we can look at as part of our grants and donations. So having a recreation stream and having an event stream where council could allocate funding to each of those streams and then have it that way. So it's going to continue to evolve as we move forward with the grants and donations, but certainly this is a good start. So I'll leave it to guys.
Comments, question? Yes.
So just, I've got a number of questions that have come up. Actually, they've been kind of stewing for a couple, since the tri-council meeting anyway. So one of the big ones, and I know we discussed at the chamber.
Yeah.
So the money that we've earmarked, what are we paying for membership?
I believe we pay about $200.
So this is over and above.
Yes.
Do you know what the others are doing?
I know the town of Prescott, they approved $1,500 for the river run, and that was it.
At
And
Westburg Cardinals meeting tonight, and they're about the same.
Okay. Yeah, because I did amber through some percentages in it. I did some homework.
Yeah.
And she's right.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they all do.
correct.
But 10% is a number that seems to be thrown around quite a bit, that municipalities subsidize the chamber. That said, I still question what the return is on that investment.
And
For Augusta and businesses alone, I mean, I'm still not convinced that the river run is it.
Mhm.
And beyond that, I think we've had this discussion many times.
absolutely.
The other one that came up is the North Augusta Soccer. They part of North Augusta Rec?
It's
Or
there,
They are,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's just surprising that they wouldn't be funded through North Augusta Rec channels. What was the other one? There's Shakespeare, it's fine. And then the other one was, and I had some discussions with Tanya on this, so what happened with the cabin fever jam? Why was that suddenly taken off?
Certainly, I think from an evaluations perspective, it was deemed that it wasn't although it's a benefit to the snowmobile club and the food bank, the evaluation committee felt.
So I
It was
do have a
not.
couple of things to say on that.
Yep.
So this is a community event, which is free to attend with a donation to the food bank, or Goodwill donation if they want to donate to. The $500 was not an operating expense or not a donation towards operating expenses. It was for sound and lighting for the actual cabin fever event, which was packed the entire day from, I think I got there about 9:30 until we left at 7.
Yep.
And it was packed the entire time. And there was a lot of people from our township that went, at a time when there really isn't a lot going on in the community. It's too early for some of the outdoor stuff. Not really a lot of other events, because, Roebuck might do something at New Year's.
Yeah.
So I find it was really surprising to see that, this volunteer-led organization that really in the winter is one of our biggest economic development drivers in the township, with snowmobiles coming in from all over in a good year. I mean, obviously in a good year, in a bad year, not so much. So I mean, it just, $500 isn't a ton of money. The other concern I had was that due to the timing of everything and how late this is, the fact that the event was 3 weeks ago, they've listed us as a sponsor, assuming that they would get the money again this year. I mean, I told them never assume, but I won't say what that usually means if you're old enough to know what that means. So anyways, I figured I'd come back and see if we could kind of make one last push and see if there was a way to kind of get council to reconsider. I think that's the only other question I have. I'm good with everything else. I mean, I think there was a lot of good cases to support. I mean, we don't have unlimited funds, obviously, so it's, I was surprised that we decided to give the full amount to Shakespeare. I think we'll see whether we get a return on that down the road. I'm a supporter of that festival. I still don't know what kind of return we're gonna get on it at the tower. It'd be a cool gimmick. But we'll see. It's unknown, right? So.
Yeah. Good. So I think certainly from the cabin fever, these are recommendations, which means council can certainly add it in if they feel it's worth adding in. I don't disagree with you on the Shakespeare. There was some discussion about, we don't have the restaurants or the hotels are gonna have that benefit, but I think the fact that it's new this year, we want to draw people into Augusta, having those Augusta maps and stuff like that. I think it'd be good to see kind of what what that spinoff is this year.
Yep.
For future,
No,
future
absolutely. I mean,
contribution, right?
Time's gonna tell. We'll see,
Yeah.
we'll see after it happens.
And I think having, a landowner like Philip Lang who is investing his time and his money into it, I think it kind of makes sense that we have to probably
Actually,
say,
interesting note on that, I'm actually on the distribution list for the publicists that they hired.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised when one day I opened up my inbox, I'm like, oh, there's the press release for the Shakespeare Festival.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. I published it and, again, I mean, we'll see,
Yeah.
we'll see after it happens. It's an unknown right now.
That's right.
So I hope for the best.
Yeah, W. Bird.
Well, there is a chance for a return on investment because we get that housing development, somebody that comes here to the festival.
Yeah.
Hey, I like this area. I want to buy a house in Augusta. So you never know.
No, absolutely.
Um,
100% right.
on the soccer, North Augusta Soccer is not sponsored by the rec. It's through the fees that they charge for the soccer players.
Okay.
So this is
So
just,
they are separate.
yeah, it helps at it. What they're looking for is equipment for netting and.
Yeah,
balls
no,
and
I'm
stuff
good
like
with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
And the reason that we went with 500 compared to 2,000 is because we could be asked by North Augusta Ball, we could be asked by
Yeah.
Maitland Soccer, so we said, okay, we'll leave it at 500 and we'll start there and then we'll see what else we get. The other thing that Shannon forgot to mention was, we're also looking at a fund for maybe disadvantaged children. That if they can't afford to join hockey or soccer or something like that, we should somehow set some kind of a fund up.
I like that too.
So, yeah.
Yes, Councilor.
I kind of had the same, kind of questions and concerns that, Councillor Pate about the Chamber of Commerce and stuff like that. And I know we had these discussions with that. And also with the North Augusta Soccer, I think it should be funded through the Recreation Committee. Every other committee does it. Yeah. That's kind of it.
My comments, first of all, I wasn't on the committee. And I didn't have any input, but when I read this report, I would have done the exact same figures that they put down. So, no, I thought they did a great job and I understand completely. So, and to me, it doesn't matter who you are, what organization you are, if you're putting on an event, that event should pay for itself. So there should be really a whole lot of asking, but anyway, I don't see that happening too many times in some of these organizations. Last note is there's a rumor, unofficial rumor, that the family health team, has a fourth doctor starting this summer. So that is the case. Our contract says with them that
It's null and void.
it's null and void, no payment. So that'd be $7,500 there. Both Edwardsburg Cardinal and Prescott are aware of that. So, until it's announced that they have, and according to the contract, they're supposed to announce it immediately. Once the doctor's in place, again, unofficially rumor, that's what we heard, so. But no, I agree totally with what they had down, so anyway, that's my thought. So anybody else? Okay, I'll call the question, all in favor? Carried, yeah. Next, we have staff report 37, 2026 building monthly activity report. I'll read the motion. Be it resolved, the council receive the building department's monthly activity report as outlined in staff report 37-2026 for information. Councilor Bowman, will you move the motion?
I will.
Deputy Mayor Wines, you second the motion?
I will.
Is there any questions on the report? Pretty self-explanatory for March, anyway. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next, staff report 38-2026, use of corporate resources policy. I'll read the motion. Be it resolved that council approve the use of corporate resources policy as outlined in staff report 38-2026. Councilor Bowman, will you move the motion?
I will.
Councilor Pate, will you second the motion?
I will.
I'll have the clerk speak to it. I got some questions, but I'll let Councilor go first, but, I'm heard.
For you, sure. The Municipal Election Act requires municipalities to establish guidelines on the appropriate use for corporate resources. This policy provides a definition, a clear definition for corporate resources, along with the purpose, which is to provide that clarity. The policy speaks to specifically to photocopying, issuing newsletters, the use of the corporate logo, social media, as well as provides guidance for staff during the campaign period. Council had passed the previous policy in 2018, so this is an updated version. And I can answer any questions council may have.
Council? Any questions?
No.
I know some of you are more active on social media than others, so the clerk will be watching.
I know they will.
I had two questions. One, it mentions in the campaign buildings the township owns. So does that mean debates and that cannot be held in the buildings?
So through your chair to council, the facilities have to be rented the same means as anyone else. So the use of corporate resources means no advantage is given to current members of council. So as long as the registration fees are paid in the same way as anyone else, it's fine to hold those at municipal facilities.
Okay, but I thought it said third party, no?
Third party advertisers. So that's if you're a registered third party.
Yeah, okay. All right, so because we've had debates in, usually in Merck and
Mhm.
North Augusta and everywhere else, so, all right.
Yeah, no, that policy, this policy doesn't.
And I take it, when the nominations start coming in, we can ask who filed papers, provided the answer is given to all.
Sorry, through you, Chair. So you're wondering if
I think it's
Hypothetically-
2.7.
you're putting your nomination papers in on May 1st, and then you want to know as they come in, or at the end of nomination period?
End of the nomination period.
Yes, I
The way-
mean,
the way
that would be,
Yeah,
so to certify your candidates is normally done after nomination day on August 21st. I know previously, in my previous position, I had posted as they came in, so everyone's information was online as you registered, and then that had your contact information. It is definitely something that if we wanted to maintain that everybody had access, it's something that could be emailed out. Again, in the past, I had a distribution list that I would email all candidates, all questions, any information that came in, so everyone had access.
yeah, I guess where I'm coming from is you'll have candidates start putting up signs or whatever in May, June. But the nominations still are coming in. So at the end of the nominations, to a person running, they're gonna say, well, when do I do my thing? If no one's running against me.
Wait till August.
Yeah, but candidates don't wanna wait till, so.
Wait. I would wait.
Oh, I know.
Spending money.
I'm just saying, some candidates will.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I didn't. And I wasn't alone. Yes,
So we would update them every time we had a candidate that would put their papers in, we would update our listing so that it was current. Is that what you're asking?
so that was the first question, yes,
Yeah.
but you can't just give that information to me, you have to give it to all the
Right.
ones.
Yeah.
nominated.
Yeah, it'd be no different
Yeah.
than once,
So-
once election or once the candidacy closes, if there's people that ask for specific information regarding the operations, it has to be given to everybody. So
Yeah,
that nobody has a distinct advantage over anybody else.
But that's since closing.
Right.
I'm saying before that,
But it would be public information anyways that you're gonna post anyways.
Or you-
no, she's not gonna post it until she gets them all in.
No, so through you, I can post as long as the candidate has supplied the information to say that they are okay with me releasing their information publicly, which they do have to provide. I can release a form or a name saying that this is the uncertified list, because I don't check certifications until
Right.
after nomination.
Right, okay. What I'm trying to get at is if I walked in your office saying, who's else is running for mayor in middle of June? You can't tell me unless you tell all the other candidates. right?
But through you, if I do put that public on the website, then you don't have, no one would have to come to me, it would be there, and then the public would know,
Yeah,
they can see
but-
who's running unofficially.
Yeah, in the
Until
past, they
certified.
wouldn't have done that. They would wait till the closing.
Yeah, we did the uncertified list too.
Same.
Same.
Yeah, okay.
And candidates have until I guess the nomination deadline to withdraw too, right? They
Right.
sign up and they say, well, you know, and after this, I'm already tired of these other people, I don't wanna run. They have until
Well,
the
Their
21st.
name will stay on the ballot if
If
they
it's
drop out.
depending, if it's before the deadline,
Right.
it'll be off.
Yeah.
But
2
if they
PM
withdraw
on-
after, then it
Yeah.
stays on.
Stays on.
Not that it will happen, but if we got anything that we can't have 100 people on the ballot,
Well,
Not yet.
that's about an extra expense.
how many was it for the opposition leader? 300?
Yeah.
So,
Has that ever happened municipally though? Like, I don't know if that's ever, I guess it could. You need to, they have to get,
We've had,
unlike federal and provincial.
we've had as high as 9,
Yeah,
one for council, but I mean,
but you have to live in the community, right?
so you gotta get 25
stop the
cents.
conversation, guys.
So, through you, Chair, if that is a concern, our clerks our meeting in the next couple of weeks, I can bring it up, it'd probably come with my, policies for paper ballots. So it's something I can look into.
Yeah, okay, no, I think, this one I read through there on the buildings and I just kind of questioned it. Not saying what we did in the past was right or wrong, I just wanted clarity, that's all.
So you felt, sorry, through you, you felt that it said that you wouldn't be able to host,
Well,
a debate?
commission,
Because you said 2.
where was it?
2.5G.
Yeah, so G reads, unless the applicable rental fee is paid with an opportunity to rent.
But it can't be paid by me.
No.
Or a candidate.
If the Chamber of Commerce did a debate and they paid a fee, then it wouldn't be.
No, so this reads, council member candidates and members of the public shall not, but then under here it says, unless the applicable rental fee is paid and the opportunity rent has been met. So I read to all candidates. So I read that as you're not going to get special treatment as mayor and get that fee waived. You're going to pay it.
Understood, yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear. If not, then I can make those changes.
Okay, any questions? No, no? Okay, I'll call the question, all in favor? Carry, thank you. That was a good report, we're just so glad that, it's just, and I kind of listened to the members of this room saying they won't be putting up signs or anything before that date, so I'll be watching closely. I know when they went up last time. Anyway, staff report 39-2026, severance application B17-26. New lot 7998 County Road 21, the Lawrence property. Read the motion. Be it resolved, the council recommends the consent application by B17-26 new lot be approved subject to the following 5 conditions of approval as detailed in staff report 39-2026. The balance of any outstanding taxes, including penalties and interest, and any other local improvement charges, if applicable. Roll number. I love these roll numbers. 0706000025001000 shall be paid to Augusta Township. An acceptable reference plan, survey, and legal description of the severed lands be submitted to Augusta Township, and the severed lands be rezoned to a site-specific agriculture A zone to permit minimum lot area of 0.63 hectares, plus or minus, and that the retained lands be rezoned to site-specific agricultural A zone to prohibit any dwelling use or any type of residential occupancy. The Township of Augusta Chief Building Official confirmed the existing barn shed that straddles the new property line has been removed from the property, and the applicant should consult with the township regarding any required demolition permit. Excuse me. That all costs associated with fulfillment of conditions are the applicant's sole expense. Counselor Pate, will you move the motion?
I will.
Deputy Mayor Winans, you second the motion?
I will.
I'll have the planner speak to it, please.
Through your worship, this application is to sever a 1.5 acre lot on County Road 21. There's currently a dwelling on it. The retained lands will be in the prime agricultural area. They're 38 acres. So they are being rezoned just for, so no dwelling will be on it. So it's a surplus severance. So as indicated by the deputy mayor, this application was considered by PAC at their last meeting, and the committee was supportive of the application with the 5 conditions that the mayor just read.
Comments, questions?
The only unique thing on the retained land, part of it's in Edwardsburg Cardinal. So it splits the boundary. So we're putting conditions on them.
Okay, I call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Staff report 11.7, staff report 40-2026, a budget variance report. As of March 31st, 2026. And I'll read the motion. Be resolved that council receives staff report 40-2026 statement of revenues and expenses as of March 31st, 2026 for information purposes. Councilor Bowman, you move the motion.
I will.
Councilor Pate, will you second the motion?
I will.
I'll have the treasurer speak to that, please.
And so through you, Mayor, not too much I'll add, that's not in the report. Fairly early on in the year here yet, so just looking at the spending, through most departments, it falls in line with what I would expect to see at this point in time of the year. There's a couple, items I did note in the report, specifically economic development and the conservation authorities where, the spending does look a bit high. There is, good reason for that, just based on, how the conservation authorities bill and also how the, economic corridor, also bills in economic development. Other than that, on the revenue side and the expense side, it's where I would expect it to be this time of year.
Comments, questions? Okay, see nothing. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next notice of motion. There are no notices of motion on this item. Bylaws. 13.1 bylaw 3841-2026. Emergency preparedness and response agreement. I'll read the motion. Be resolved that bylaw number 3841-2026 being a bylaw to authorize the manager of protective services, fire chief and chief administration officer to execute the agreement with His Majesty the King in the right of Ontario as represented by the Ministry of Emergency Preparedness and Response be read a first time, second time, and third time be enacted as read. Councilor Pate, we move the motion.
I will.
Deputy Mayor Winans, you second the motion.
I will.
Are there any questions from council? Good. Keith, do you want to add anything? No?
No, I don't think so, Your Worship.
Okay,
Thanks.
good. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carries. Good. Been through all the schedules on this anyway. All right, I'll read the motion. Be resolved. The bylaw number 3842-2026 being a bylaw to delegate certain authorities during the restricted acts, brackets lame duck, council period, be read a first time, second time, and third time, be enacted as read. Deputy Mayor Winans, will you move the motion?
So moved.
Councilor Bowman, do you second the motion?
I will.
Comments, questions from council? CAO, want to add anything? No? It's fairly straightforward. The counties did theirs, last week too, so. Okay, call the question, all in favor? Carried, thank you. File number 3843-2026 and tax rates. I'll read the motion. Be resolved that bylaw number 3843-2026 being a bylaw to adopt and levy the 2026 tax rates and to further provide for penalty and interest on overdue amounts be it a first time, second time, and third time be enacted as read. Councilor Pate, will you move the motion?
I will.
Councilor Bowman, will you second the motion?
I will.
Are there any comments, questions from council? Okay, I see nothing. I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. 13.4, bylaw 3844-2026 development agreement, 7332 Dixon Road. I'll read the motion. Be resolved that bylaw number 3844-2026 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement with Raymond Joseph Foster and Rebecca Joyce Foster. Be read a first time, second time, and a third time, be enacted as read. Councilor Bowman, will you move the motion?
I will.
Deputy Mayor Whiting, will you second the motion?
I will.
Okay, comments, questions from the council? If there's nothing, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yep. Bylaw number 3845-2026 development agreement 7525 County Road 21. I'll read the motion. Be it resolved that bylaw number 3845-2026 being a bylaw to authorize the execution of an agreement with David Rennie and Linda Rennie be read a first time, second time, and third time, be enacted as read. Deputy Mayor Winans, you move the motion. So move. Councilor Pape, will you second the motion?
I will.
Comments, questions from council? See nothing, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Yes. Announcements. Does any member of council have an announcement? Yes, Councilor Pape.
I'll just mention again, the chamber has a business after 5 on Wednesday night at the Cardinal Legion. It's from 5 till 7:30.
And just a reminder too, the trade fair is coming up. I think it's next weekend.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, you can help out, please do. Any other announcements? Yes.
Yeah, on Thursday, April 23rd, Maynard School is having a safety day. They've asked me to speak on behalf of farm safety. Chief Bowman's gonna have some firefighters there on fire safety. I think they're having the police there too, so should be a good day.
Good.
And then, of course, our trade show's on at the same time. Trade show starts on Thursday and it runs till Saturday. And Saturday morning, there's a free pancake breakfast from Steve Clark at South Grenville High School.
Yes, I forgot about that. Thank
Yeah,
you very
8
much.
till 10:30.
Yeah. That's a bitter.
That's your calendar.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee they won't be as good as North Augusta.
Okay, and announcements, that's it. Questions on the agenda items for the public? Are there any questions from the public? Okay, I see none. Any questions on the agenda from the press? I don't think we have any in the press. Okay, next we have item 17, closed meeting as per section 239 of the Municipal Act. Be resolved that council move into a closed session at 6:10 PM to discuss matters pertaining to 17.1 approval of the previous closed session minutes, February 23rd and March 9th, 2026. 17.2 matters under section 239 brackets 2 brackets B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. 17.3 matters under section 239 brackets 2 brackets E, litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality. And 17.4 matters under section 239 brackets 2 brackets C, a pending disposition of land by the municipality, specifically collective agreement, staffing, OLT appeal, and the sale of municipal property. Councilor Pape, will you move the motion?
I will.
Councilor Bowman, will you second the motion?
I will.
I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Yep. Okay, we got the 6:10.
Yes.
Are you coming with, you're with?
No.
No. Go inside.
Hopefully I'll hear something from Blue Jays here shortly, Amy. So
Okay, Mayor, you're live.
Okay. So we're out of the closed session. During the closed session, council approved the closed session minutes dated February 23rd and March 9th, 2026. Received information on item 17.2, an identifiable individual, and item 17.3, litigation before a tribunal, and provide staff direction on item 17.4, pending disposition of municipal property. Next, the bylaw. That's all I do, right? Next is bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. I'll read the motion. Be resolved, the bylaw number 3846-2026, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the Township of Augusta at its meeting held on April 13th, 2026, be read a first time, second time, third time, and be enacted as read. Councillor Pape, will you move the motion?
So moved.
Councillor Bowman, will you second the motion?
I will.
I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Adjournment. I'll read the motion. Be resolved, this council meeting be adjourned at 7:42 PM. A little bit late tonight until April 27th, 2026 at 5 PM or on the call where subject to need. Councillor Pape, will you move the motion?
I will.
And Deputy Mayor Winans, will you second the motion?
I will.
And I'll call the vote. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, everybody.